Hello everyone and welcome to Antimatters. This episode is the first monthly update of many, I hope. We'll be looking at all my ants today, including some colonies you might have seen before and a few I've not made any videos of yet. To start, my expedition, that word's a bit grand for what it ended up as, more of a day trip up Dartmoor. I'd share a more specific location, but these guys are special and you'll see what I mean, and I don't want to jeopardise their safety. Anyway, it's foggy, rainy British day up the moors, and there are very few Lasiuses flavus on the ground. Compared to like previous checkups, I've been up there a few times. I only wanted to do a little experiment, so I got to work, and well, it turned out pretty good. As you can see from the experiment, which is coming up in a couple seconds, what I did was take some ants from about 100 meters apart, 4 different nests, and put them all together. And they didn't exhibit any aggression, nothing. I'm not sure if there's a super colony up here or what, but I would like to know more, so I'm going to go and do some more experiments on them, I think. Try not to hurt them. Now on to my little flavs. I got these from Aunt Davy about a month ago, and they're in a Wakushi Mercury nest at the minute. She came with, or they, I should say, because it's 2 queens, came with 10 to 20 workers about a month ago, and they're doing fab. Huge gasters full of eggs and a nice pile of brood. You can see them chewing on a cricket leg in there. They're also fed honey water and the odd mealworm chopped up. Every so often, if they're really lucky, they get a little bit of chicken, which they absolutely love, as you can see in the video here. Next up, my Lasiuses colony. I've not had these long, maybe a month, and she came with 1 worker, but now, as you can see, there's 2. And there's a nice big pile of cocoons as well that are ready to hatch, which should mean that I'll probably have about 10 by the end of next month, which will be great. The third new colony to show you today is my Pheidoles nodus, or nodus with a US, but that's the masculine take on the Latin word, and there isn't any boys in there, so I think nodus is the right one because they're all girls. They seem to spend most of their time stood around doing nothing, and they don't seem to do much, to be honest. They'll stand near food, and I'm not sure if they're guarding it from other scavengers. I witnessed one guy in the time lapse. He stood nearly dead still for 2 hours before just running off back to the nest and doing absolutely nothing. This soldier here, he took to the extreme, and he decided, I'm going to leave the nest for 2 days. At first I thought, oh, she's sick, but I saw the little workers feeding him via trophallaxis, and he seemed to chirp up after a couple of days and ran back into the nest, and I think lived happily ever after. They love their protein at the moment, and the brood pile is ever growing, and the population has started to kind of increase quite fast now. As you can see, we've got loads of larvae, loads of pupae. The heavyweight bread makers of the show, this is my 50 plus Messors, and they're also experiencing a boom in population, and the new babies just keep getting bigger and bigger. Sometimes I even get confused and think it's the queen, and I panic and think she's lost a load of weight, and then it turns out it's a worker. The queen in this colony though, she's massive, like black as onyx, and still twice the size of anything else in there. I'm hoping these guys can keep their nest for this season, but they are growing quite fast. They're in a small ants HQ, Myrmicas nest, which seems to be doing them pretty good. I find they eat mostly seeds, mealworms and crickets as well they'll have. Although if there's too much, they'll just leave it out there to rot. Here's my smaller colony of Messors. There's probably about 8 plus at the moment workers. Got no kind of polymorphism yet, but the queen loves chicken, and she's a brute as well, but she's a lot smaller than the other queen at the minute. I'm not sure if she'll grow later on. On to the real stars of the show. They do what they want when they want, and they're nearly indestructible. They're walking tanks, and they breed like rabbits. It's the woodlice. They're in me of a Myrmicas rubra nest. This one here, this is Ricky, this is. He doesn't respect the ants or anyone. He's a feisty little guy as well, and he decided he wants this cricket. So what he did, he just picked it up and walked off with it. Most of the woodlice sit around chomping moss though. Woodlice are known to look after their young, and I can't help but think they have little families going on. As long as they keep the place clean, I don't mind hundreds of woodlice, but I am kind of hoping that the next wave of workers will maybe get the ants to maybe eat a few of them and cut the numbers down a bit. The millipedes, they're also going strong now. They're loving this half-rotten log in the corner. A few worms and slugs have decided to show themselves as well, and numerous other unknown insects that I see the ants walking off with in their mouths. There's millions of springtails now as well, which keep it all clean. The bioactivity is definitely heading in the right direction. As you can see, life has crept into most corners. My other colony of rubras is insatiable at the moment, and they'll eat any protein now put in there. Here's a locust after about a minute, I'd say. And the first guy found it, and this is after about 3 minutes. And as you can see, they've mobbed it. And they just start chomping. They can easily eat like 4 locusts a day at the moment. If I fed them locusts every day, I don't because they're more expensive. But I'll give them about 5 or 6 crickets a day. Maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 mealworms as well, if they're still hungry. I might have to start moderating their protein intake because it's kind of getting a bit out of control. And I can't really afford a bigger tank yet, and I'd like a tank I can put some nukes in as well to maybe eat a few of them and keep them in balance really. After about 20 minutes they're trying to drag it down the hole. This one, he's got 1 leg left now, but they've chomped the other ones, and they don't even chop it at the joint, they just snip straight through the main leg. They're savage. Here's what I'd give them in a day about 2 weeks ago, but I've had to increase this since I had about 2 more crickets. This poor worker has found a new inhabitant, and I'm not sure where it came from. It's the moss most likely. She's about to have a shit day here. Every time she sniffs it or goes near it, she ends up getting more and more covered in its slime. And I think she gets a little bit annoyed as well, as you can understand. She seemed to retreat off at one point, but then she came back, covered even more as well, and it just gets worse. This is her when she's come back. She's managed to get a bit of leaf, some sort of leaf litter anyway. Oh, walked straight into him again. Yeah, hopefully she cleaned herself off and went on with the rest of her day. Next month I'm really hoping the Pheidoles boom, as I've got a slightly bigger ant boy smartness in the post, and I might do a review on it if it's as good as it looks. We'll be switching from honey and brown sugar to white and brown sugar as well in future, as it seems more palatable to more species. And I got some Solenopsis pimpula. I don't really know how to say it yet, on the way. Got them from the ant lady. Been putting off getting Solenopsis for these guys first, and they sound a slightly bit more chilled than the monster that is in Victor, which I definitely don't want because they're just wild. Hopefully they won't get out of control, but we'll see. Make a special video when they get it from the ant lady there. Thanks for watching though, and a massive shout out to World of My Hellcat Ants for all their support. I'll see you next time.